Welcome back, and we've made it to episode 10. Today on Travel Market Life, we're going to be talking about how you can productize your offering. This is particularly important at this point of time, especially when really many people can't have access to most things unless they shop online or they try to fight for supermarket queues. Social distancing in play, that could prove quite a long time to do the shopping. Alternatively, it might be the fact that there are particular goods that you have interest in and you can't necessarily get them in the standard supermarket. But also, this is a great opportunity for hoteliers and the travel marketplace, and how you can identify new revenue streams and still keep in contact with your target audience. Joining me today is Rich Hull from GiftPro. He's the creative director and co-founder, and he's going to be talking to us about how he's been helping hoteliers productize their offering. In the first instance, they released a new website called supporthospitality.co.uk with hashtag supporthospitality. So, Rich, I've got you here on the line. It's nice for you to join us. How are things?
Yeah, good. Holding out okay. We've got a lovely garden. We're over the road from the New Forest, so to be honest, we really can't complain. We think about all the NHS workers out there, on the front line. I mean, we're all good. I'm employed. Life isn't that bad, and it looks like there's some light at the end of the tunnel as well. Obviously, with with Boris's announcement later this week. So things are relative, of course. It's tough to be locked down. I'm sure we're all feeling it in different ways, but certainly can't complain.
I mean, you really put yourself out there from the very beginning. I was in contact with you just a couple of weeks after the UK's lockdown. And this is when you shared with us your initiative at GiftPro on launching this hashtag support hospitality. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
So again, credit to Will, really, co-founder and MD. His thinking was, while we're all locked down, how do we find out who's offering takeout? Who we can buy gift vouchers from? What are the hotels and restaurants' COVID policies? How can we find out all this information in one place? So hence Support Hospitality was born, and it's essentially a site full of listings, hotels and restaurants. We're up to 1,650 listings now, which is amazing, and it's totally free to use. And it basically means that they can directly link to their gift voucher store if they have one, any brand. They don't have to use GiftPro. It can be any company. Their takeout options, again, any company, if they offer takeout, click and collect, that's cool. And then also a direct link to their COVID policy. We also added recently the ability for them to link to their their physical e-commerce stores if they have them, which obviously we'll talk about later. So far, traction's been amazing. We're supported by some amazing companies, so that's really exciting. So go check them out on the About page. Every day the site's getting busier. In terms of mainstream consumer traction, we don't know how far it'll go, but if we can move the needle by 0.5% and help out a few of our clients and the industry in the at the same time, then it's a win for us, and it's worth every second of our time. So go check it out. Supporthospitality.co.uk. It's free to get listed, free to use, that's it in short.
Yeah, no, it's great, especially since you've seen hotels sort of having to pivot in the same way that you've pivoted here slightly to help the industry, especially those who've got those kitchens and the great chefs and the produce to be able to supply these takeaways or delivery options. And certainly in my neck of the woods, you're seeing a lot of that really happening. But it's also about that cash flow, isn't it, which is you're trying to encourage. This idea that consumers can actually buy something now in order to trade that in later when lockdown restrictions are lifted. And an experience in a hotel, be it a lunch, a 3-course meal, or an overnight stay, is something that I think most people are going to be looking forward to, right? To escape their own homes and have a bit of an experience after all of this. And so when we're looking at this, you're really talking about how we're sort of changing the way the industry perhaps engages with the marketplace. And one of the things is about this driving the revenue and how you're productizing the offering. So can you talk to me about, how you've been helping hotels productize their offering during this period? But I know that you've been doing it for quite some time prior to all this.
Hey, Ryan.
Hi, Rich. Did you lose me on an internet connection there? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether that was my end, your end, both ends. Sorry about that, though.
No worries at all. Let me just go back to the question I was just proposing to you. You've really shown that hotels can pivot and they can really reposition themselves by offering alternative services, especially at this point in time, whether it's vouchers for the future and identifying ways in which they can make their offerings into products that people can buy now, or providing their services or products in a different way through like these takeaway platforms. So it really is trying to help drive the revenue for the industry. So how have you been helping hoteliers specifically productize their offering?
Well, I suppose it's, we can't take the credit. We're merely providing them the platform to actually sell their products. And when I say products, I mean everything from, a food box, that's full of fresh produce, through to an own brand beer. It might be a recipe book. Every hotel and restaurant is different, and that, the idea we're trying to get across is that, how can you bring a little piece of your experience into people's homes? That's the idea. Obviously, the nice thing about the GiftPro retail beta, which we just rolled out to about, I think we've got about 10, 15 clients using that at the moment. The nice thing about it is we actually handle the fulfillment. So they're a good example. They have this amazing chili oil. I absolutely love it. I get through it. It goes on everything I eat. So yeah, they don't have to store that in-house themselves. So if you imagine Shopify, looks after all of your e-commerce, we're like that, but we also look after your fulfillment, because hotels and restaurants often don't have much space to store their products, and the nice thing about it, selling products and productization in hospitality isn't in its own right likely to, to prop up an entire hotel or restaurant and all its staff. But if it means that 10, 15% less staff members need to be furloughed, or worse, then that's great. If you can keep your chefs cooking, excellent. If you can create a recipe book and roll that out, do it. And consumers want to support their local hotels and restaurants. And we've obviously seen that coming together, throughout communities and everywhere throughout this whole lockdown scenario. But yeah, it's amazing to see. I'll post some links onto the
Yeah, no, absolutely. What I can do is I can share those within the resources when people have a look at the actual episodes, and yeah, they can have a look at what some of your customers are doing. I mean, one of the interesting ones that you mentioned to me was actually the Pig. Now, the Pig was meant to open a new hotel, wasn't it, over this period, but unfortunately it's had to delay it. And nice of them that they're going to invite NHS staff to have the first experiences. But they've also productized a lot of what they do, because it really is an experience. Anybody who hasn't gone to the Pig, you have to go, because they grow, they source a lot of their food produce locally, and they grow a lot of that stuff. So how have they been tackling this at the moment?
I mean, everyone we know loves the Pig. We love the Pig. The food's amazing. The environment's amazing. And as you say, they grow everything locally. And they're just a really innovative group of hotels. They really have set the bar quite high when it comes to the rural kind of country house upscale, but not upscale, if you know what I mean, boutique kind of high-end hotel. And, they call themselves a restaurant with rooms for good reason. The food comes first there. It sits at the heart of everything they do, and everything revolves around that, from how it's grown right through to, how it's cooked cooked and prepared. Obviously, all headed up by James Golding, incredibly talented chef. So what they've done is basically distilled all of that knowledge into an amazing cookery book. But it's more than a cookery book, really. It's how to grow food. It's how to decorate a room, in the pig kind of style. It's everything, and obviously it includes all of their amazing dishes. The tobacco onions, they are unbelievable. I was pleased to see them in there. It really is a fantastic book. They've put a huge amount of effort into it, and they haven't done it just because of COVID and the pandemic that we're in. They did it because they genuinely wanted to kind of extend that experience into people's homes.
And it's certainly about keeping that branding going, isn't it? It's about people connecting the dots as well of that experience and what they're going to get. And one of the interesting points that you mentioned earlier, if you don't have the capabilities like the pig, and they are quite extraordinary when it comes to food and that experience, but it's how you actually take already how you manage your hotel and able to provide different services. And one of them is that, this wholesale supply. It's this redistribution of product. And the fact that hotels, are buying from wholesalers who much desperately need a channel to market at this point, because most of them only supply businesses. But hotels now, bringing all these products in, are able to supply food boxes to people. People get order, click, collect, right?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're buying it at wholesale prices, so they should be able to make a margin on whether it's a food box or a recipe kit, something like that. And it's a lot of us don't really want to go and queue up at a huge supermarket and take that risk. We might have older family members, we might be old ourselves. And actually, the hotels and restaurants, they have access to some incredible produce that you can't even get in the supermarket. So it's kind of a win-win. Consumers get to support their local hotels and restaurants whilst getting something they need, and the hotels and restaurants get to kind of prop up their revenue a bit. Again, it's not going to compare to a busy restaurant with 100, 200 covers in, but it's something. And if it keeps a few staff employed, it keeps the brand alive. It creates some positive sentiment towards their brand as well, then really there's, it's a win for everyone.
Yeah, especially if you can develop those relationships with local suppliers in particular, who are really suffering right now. Those farmers that would tend to go to catering companies, they're able now to perhaps work with your local hotel and create that full local experience. And certainly working with the local population as well, that helps to spread that brand and that word of mouth. And potentially people from visiting family and friends across the country might actually consider you as a place to stay if they've had that overall experience. And so today we've really talked about this whole idea that hotel kitchens can pivot to takeaway and deliveries, that they can prepare future revenue, or at least support their cash flow with vouchers, and how they can sort of make their products that they generally only sell on site available to people in different types of packages through productizing their offering. So one of the things I want to ask you then, what's the best way if they've got products either from other suppliers or their own, how could they make their products retailed? How can they become accessible?
Well, the first thing is to obviously, select an e-commerce platform to obviously sell your products via. Some of those can be quite heavyweight and require a lot of infrastructure. And for a lot of small businesses, they're going to be like, look, I can't justify spending 20,000 right now on an e-commerce store. At the other end of the spectrum, if you're very small and you need to get something up and running super quick, you might consider a plugin, maybe for your WordPress site. There's a lot of e-commerce plugins out there that are, that do the job, but they're not going to maybe tick all the boxes for a hospitality company. If you need to tie things up with your CRM, and you need to, you need the fulfillment piece covered, and actually you need some support, then you're kind of on your own with a plugin. So kind of sits in the middle. You have no infrastructure to set up, so no no learning anything technical, no setup cost, which is great. Works on a commission basis like GiftPro, but then you get that support and the hand holding that you wouldn't get with a plugin. And obviously, to top it off, you get the fulfillment as well. If you want it, if you're doing click and collect only, that's fine. And we can't, we couldn't fulfill a veg box on behalf of a hotel in London, because it wouldn't make sense, to send the vegetables to the New Forest, have them sit in it just doesn't make sense. But if it's a chili oil, a recipe book, an apron, cosmetic products, Tattoo, the Asian restaurant that started in Manchester, they have these amazing glass skull cocktail glasses, yeah. And they're super popular. And we sell them online. We fulfill them, on their behalf. So GiftPro Retail sits in the middle. It's like a quick, easy way to get selling online in a professional manner, with the support but without the infrastructure. And of course, like all of the products we build, it's fully customizable. So it's a seamless extension of your website. Again, I don't want to keep plugging it too much, but we built it to solve that problem.
Yeah, it's something that needs to happen, really. We've looked at how hotels are now selling direct with online bookings. They're now able to add all forms of ancillary revenue, and cross sell and upsell, and this is just another way of being able to bring more commerce to their business by using the internet, really. How we can talk about the internet, everyone just access is everything to the internet anyway now. But obviously, if people can purchase and buy quite quickly a product that they've experienced at a hotel, and also maybe get some unique gift ideas as well, really. At this point in time, if you can't shop the high streets, or you're fed up of browsing on Amazon for a gift, it's a great way to find something unique.
Oh, for sure. That we have loads of clients selling some really interesting things. It might be, who is it? Frenchie in London. They have this kind of own brand illustration style that everyone kind of loves, and they've done these tote bags with like this kind of really nice illustrated design on. They're really popular. And the aprons as well. Obviously, everyone's cooking at home a lot. Yeah. So you can get the Frenchie apron. So it varies. It depends how broad you want to go. We've got clients at the moment considering putting their entire curated gift shop online. Which that's not necessarily their own products, but you go to Limewood, for example, you go to their spa. That a lot of the products in there you'd struggle to find them online. They're beautiful, and the idea is you buy them on impulse. So knowing that you can find all that cool stuff in one place online is great. So
it's certainly helpful if you saw something, you came home and you wish you'd actually bought it, and the fact that you can actually go back onto the hotel's website and be able to get that maybe it's a local item, a local craft produce, or whatever. If you're actually able to get hold of it, you haven't missed out, which is it's all about right now, is don't miss out on anything. FOMO. Right. Well, thank you ever so much, Rich, for joining us today and giving that insight into how to productize offering, particularly through website, but also using supporthospitality.co.uk, where I guess anybody can subscribe to and list their offering that they have, or get in contact with you guys at GiftPro.
Yeah, for sure. We've, with the full support teams, at work, we're lucky enough to be owned by Clear Course Group now. So, we've got, I'm not going to say unlimited resource, but we're running at 100%, and we've accelerated the speed at which we can go live with our clients now, and we've also our clients can get their revenue daily rather than having to wait monthly. So we're really trying to provide the best possible service throughout this time, and not deteriorate any aspect of what we're offering. So give us a shout.
No, certainly good work. The fact that you're still able to find ways and able to help the industry and prepare for that rebound, hopefully. So Rich, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Ryan. You stay safe, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
Absolutely. You stay safe and the team as well. Thank you very much for joining us. That was Rich Hull from GiftPro, the creative director, talking to us about how you can productize your offering. Sorry for slight technical issues there, but if you need any further information, we will be sharing resources on the show notes. And now coming up, you're going to be hearing some episodes that's going to come from the Institute of Travel and Tourism, Danny Wayne. And we're also going to be speaking to Fly Now, Pay Later, who's going to give us some advice on refunds and also helping consumers purchase future holidays, which might actually be something you might need to be looking into, particularly due to the fact that many people's incomes and revenues will be tighter for quite some time. If you have any topics or suggestions that you'd like us to discuss or people we'd like to interview, then please do get in contact with us at Travel Market Life. You can drop us some information on the website, travelmarket.life, and we will be in contact with you. Otherwise, thank you for listening to us, and we'll have a new podcast to you very, very soon. Take care and look after yourselves. Ciao for now.